How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. The crypto market just flipped. We have the Fed meeting tomorrow, and we're looking actually pretty good in the market. The stock market's up a good amount too, with the NASDAQ nearly 3% up on the day. Crypto's up 2.4% as a total. And we just had some interesting reports coming out of the CoinShares Institutional Investor Report. So I want to cover that. Also cover some news on two different altcoins. And I'm going to keep this short. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I appreciate that. There's a link under there to BlockFi. This is one of the few places that I actually trust to put my crypto on. So if you guys want to check it out underneath the video, they'll give you up to $250 bonus Bitcoin when you sign up and start depositing. So overall, like I said, crypto is looking fairly good today, right? There are a lot of cryptos that are up a couple percent. And this is after we've pretty much gone sideways for Bitcoin for the last, 8 weeks or so? And we've floated from 36,000 up to 44 and back and forth, back and forth. Altcoins have kind of bled recently, but they're looking pretty good today. Now, one thing that's interesting to note here is actually Terra's down. So Terra's had so much strength recently, it's down a couple of percent right now. Now, I do have some Terra news here in a bit, but first of all, let's take a look at the investor report from this week. So every week we get the institutional investor report. This is the week ending March 11. So just a few days ago. What is interesting here is we actually saw outflows of $110 million. This is a little bit of a change up because we had seen about a 7-week run of positive inflows. So a total of $80 million of outflows derived from North America, with the outflows beginning at the start of last week, suggesting that they are a response to the U.S. presidential executive order to study digital assets more deeply, which we talked about that. When that came out, there was a sell-off and then went right back up. So I don't think there's too much news on this besides what we've already heard. It's still just an executive order to do further research. And overall, this will be good for the crypto market because it will cause us to have more regulation. More large investors are willing to put money in when there is regulation. So where did this money come out of? Bitcoin and Ethereum. So a lot coming from those. A little bit came off Solana and Polkadot. A little bit went into Litecoin and Cardano. A little bit into multi-asset. So overall, I would say they're probably flipping right back to continuously putting money into the market. We should see that next Monday. And I think that will be the case again, where we just continue to pile more and more money. But it'll be partly dependent on what the Fed does tomorrow. I've already talked about what I think about this. I have a video coming out before the Fed announcement tomorrow on what I am planning to do going forward. And I think it is a pretty massive bet. So be on the lookout for that. But let's move on to some altcoin news. So Do Kwon has been very vocal recently. The Luna Foundation Guard has been very vocal. So LFG Council has voted to burn another 4 million Luna to mint roughly 372 million USD, which will be used to acquire Bitcoin. Once this burn is completed, their reserves will be valued at about 2.2 billion, as well as 8 million Luna remaining for future growth. So they still have a lot of Luna just sitting around to add to the reserves. They also can do what they did originally to get some Bitcoin, which is they can sell Luna on a time schedule to large backers, and they will buy at a pretty nice value compared to where Luna was even just a couple months ago, right? So right now they are backing UST, and you can see that's doing really well for UST. UST actually flipped over Dogecoin earlier today. Imagine if you had heard about UST, almost a year ago, and someone had told you that it was going to flip over Dogecoin. A lot of people have given you flack for that because no one really knew what UST was a year ago, and Dogecoin was the talk of the town, right? Everyone was talking about Dogecoin, but it's definitely deflated a good amount, and Terra has been becoming more and more popular. Now, this also helps Terra. We're going to burn more Terra, more Luna. There's going to be more UST. In the long run, that is good for Terra because the supply is just so small, and it's getting smaller and smaller as time goes on. We also got some news about Avalanche. So I don't talk about Avalanche too much on the channel, but Wildlife Studios, a mobile developer with 2 billion game downloads, will use Avalanche to add NFTs tokens to Castle Crush. So if you don't know what Castle Crush is, I've actually played it a handful of times. I've just been looking around and found it, and you can actually see what it looks like here if you've ever seen this screen, but they are going to use Avalanche. So they've been downloaded more than 75 million times, and they have 1 million monthly active users. Wildlife will update the existing mobile game to activate optional NFTs powered by Avalanche. As we thought of how to position ourselves in the blockchain gaming space, one thing was clear: we need to move fast and learn from direct experience. Castle Crush was obvious for us. Even though gameplay is in real time, its progression system is derived from cards and deck building. So they say in here that they think that this will be really good whenever there's cards. It's really easy to integrate some of these NFTs. Now, they also say we expect this will add a new incentive and motivate players to collect cards and experiment with different deck builds. I'm assuming too this makes the game pretty sticky. It's also another revenue stream. Imagine you have a marketplace and they take just a small percentage of that. Maybe it's US dollars, maybe it's some other kind of in-game currency or crypto or something like that. But there should be a way to sell these off, obviously, to other players. And the fact is, if you can do that and charge a little bit of a fee, that could be a burning mechanism or just a revenue generator for the company, depending on how they want to do it. So it's pretty interesting how they are integrating Avalanche. Now let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. I'm going to keep it under 8 minutes so that way you guys don't get a mid-roll ad. And let me know what you think is going to come out of the Fed meeting tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.